Well, as the Mideast explores alternatives to the Strait of Hormuz, the United States may have an alternative to the loss of liquefied natural gas production that came out of Qatar, which supplied about 20% of global LNG last year. Iranian strikes took out 17% of the country's export capacity. Now the U.S. has an opportunity waiting along the Louisiana Gulf Coast. Secretary of Energy Chris Wright visiting the site of the Commonwealth LNG project today. It's a $13 billion LNG project in Cameron Parish. The project's owner today gave the green light. That results in the build-out of a facility designed to ship 9.5 million tons of LNG per year. Joining me now from Lake Charles, Louisiana, is Commonwealth LNG Chairman and Kimmeridge Managing Partner Ben Dell, and from Baton Rouge, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry. It's great to have you both here. Governor, I'm going to start with you because this seems to flow into, pun intended, you brought about $50 billion in economic growth into the state of Louisiana. You're improving the fiscal situation. How important was this today?
Well, look, there was two great things that happened today. Number one, actually, Louisiana surpassed $100 billion in private investment over the last 2 years since I became governor. And number two, Ben Dell and Commonwealth proved that the American dream is still alive under President Trump. So it was just a great day in Louisiana.
Yeah, well, and Ben, I'm curious if the final investment decision from you was tied to the Strait of Hormuz and the war in Iran, what's happened to the LNG facilities in particular in Qatar. Was that a factor in your decision-making?
Not a factor in the decision-making. I mean, Commonwealth LNG has been in the works for nearly 5 years now. Unfortunately, it was paused under the Biden administration, and with the new administration in place and the president and the great state of Louisiana, we've been able to move this forward in the last 2 years and finally take final investment decisions. So great day for us and the ability to put $13 billion into the state.
Are you having these conversations, though? I mean, are you looking at new buyers? Is your phone ringing, basically, Ben, is what I'm saying? Because in particular with Europe and Asia, they're the ones that are getting hit with no supply of nat gas.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say we've had a number of incoming calls, both ahead of this announcement as soon as the straits were closed. But now the question investors and buyers are asking us is, can we do more? So looking forward to building this facility and then looking forward to see what else we can do in Louisiana.
Well, and Governor Landry, Ben mentioned this, but I want to revisit this. The fact that the LNG exports were stopped under President Joe Biden, that was 4 years. I mean, that is 4 years of growth that states like Louisiana could have, and they did not. So how crucial is that? And, are we recovering fast enough, do you think, under President Trump and this new administration?
Well, it's unbelievable what we've been able to do under President Trump. Again, I said $100 billion has flowed into Louisiana because of the new Trump economy. Here's the other thing, too. I can tell you that's exactly why I said that Ben Dell and Commonwealth proved that the American dream is alive again, because over the 4 years under President Biden, his American dream, Commonwealth's American dream, was dead. The projects like this were basically taken off the table. You know what that meant? That meant less security around the globe. That meant less peace around the globe. Because the important thing is right now, Louisiana, at each one of its LNG facilities, is not only exporting natural gas, it's exporting peace.
And Governor, since I got you here, I got to ask you a little bit about politics, because the primary is tomorrow for the Senate seat. And, Senator Cassidy is kind of in the fight of his life right now. You were with Julia Letlow. You've endorsed her. The president has now endorsed her to take over. The polling looks a little split. What can you tell us about the race, and what are you predicting to happen tomorrow, Saturday, when voters go to the polls? Do you think you're going to get some good turnout here?
I think the one thing that I am hoping is that we do get a good turnout. That's our problems in the midterms as Republicans, especially when we hold the presidency. We have a tendency to just kind of sit on the couch. We're urging voters to go out. We do believe that Julia Letlow right now has the momentum necessary to carry on the top of the ticket in the primary coming up on Saturday. I think that she'll lead. And the question is, who's going to be in second? So we'll see on Saturday. That's my prediction. But I think she's doing extremely extremely well. I mean, look, she's had two men that have just really been not very southerly about the way they've treated her, but she's an excellent candidate. She has a proven track record. She's done a great job in picking up where her late husband left off in Congress. And I got to tell you, she's going to be great for Louisiana.
But obviously, you spoke with and worked with President Trump on this to make this decision to put your political capital behind Letlow. How crucial was that endorsement from President Trump? And also, what did the president say about Cassidy? Did he give you any more insight as to why he's frustrated with Senator Cassidy?
Well, look, I think that I'd always said that I was going to follow the president on this Senate race. Look, the president has been great to Louisiana, been unbelievable to Louisiana. Louisiana has been good to the president as well. And so we enjoy President Trump when he comes down to Louisiana. We enjoy his policies. Like I said, that $100 billion is based upon that. I think that his frustration has been in the fact that Senator Kennedy has just he's opposed his nominees. He voted to impeach the president. Again, those are issues that Senator Cassidy has taken up with President Trump. And again, I think the president looks for loyalty, not only loyalty to himself, but to the America Great Again, making America great again's policies. And when you go out and you don't support those policies, that means you're not supporting Louisianians. Interesting.
Well, Ben, before you go, I do want to have one quick question with you. Going back to this facility, I had to get the politics of the day out of the way. But Ben, real quick, talk to me about the communities around this new facility, because there's been concerns from residents about emissions and pollution. Are you addressing that? Are you working with the community to make sure that this facility will be environmentally safe?
Sure. I mean, look, we've had a great track record across our oil and gas operations, both on the upstream side, the midstream side, and in the LNG space. And we're committed to transparency, best-in-class performance, and best-in-class environmental performance. At the end of the day, and I talked about it today, we want to be a partner with the community for the next 40 to 50 years. These are long-term facilities. It's going to bring nearly 3,000 construction jobs at the peak of the build, 350 plus long-term employment jobs with high-paying salaries. So we want to be great partners with the community, both the parish, the state, and the federal government. So we're excited to do that. We'll be transparent all the way along, and we want to be a huge part of the Louisiana community.
Making energy great again in the United States. Ben Dell and, of course, Governor Jeff Landry. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with me. Big day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the time.
All right.